There's not too many people, when you associate the state of Iowa with a legend, that you have a chance to meet and get to know and realize, you know something, they're really nice people at the same time. And this is one of them right here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the program, in studio with us, the one and only Dan Gable. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, we're here to talk about a couple different things, but there's one that is really near and dear to your heart. And that is coming up, a gala that is coming up.
Well, I don't know if I call it a gala, but that's kind of what they want to call it. It's an event that's about wrestling. It's about wrestling promotions. It's about helping the future of our sport, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about that, and I don't think a lot of people really understand what it's about. It's more like maybe just a fundraiser for a museum named after this guy. So, and it's not. You know, it's more like, to me, the whole United States and then the whole world has to look at what we're doing and get organized a little bit more and get organized to the point where it does make a difference worldwide, because wrestling in the state of Iowa is a big deal. Wrestling in the world is a big deal. Wrestling in the Olympics, but it's such a big deal that when you don't do your leadership work, that you can get kicked out, and we saw that just not too long ago. But we're back in, but we still have to change that mindset, and the mindset has to start right here in the heart of wrestling, and that's the state of Iowa, where we have 25 wrestling colleges, 26 programs, and I'm trying to get all these programs together in one room at an event, at a gala, to celebrate that we've been a tremendous sport, 29 world and Olympic medals in the state of Iowa alone, and 57 NCAA wrestling championships from the colleges just within the state of Iowa. So, you know, I mean, you go to some hotbeds in the world, and those hotbeds in the sport of wrestling know the state of Iowa, and that's good. But the thing about it that is really important is that a lot of the constituents, the actual wrestling coaches, are the ones that have to realize that our sport needs to still go to a higher level. And they can do something about that. And they can do something about that by making sure that they participate in an event that can be a template for the whole United States, for the whole world, where you get your people together, you celebrate your past, and you kind of approach what's really current, and then for the future. And that's what we want to have. We want to have a good meeting with 26 wrestling coaches and a lot of good fans. We're getting some sponsors, quite a few actually, and that's doing well. And what we want to do, though, is to make their job easier. And make their job easier means you make the sport better. You want to get on TV more, you want to be more well known, and what's better than if you walk into a museum and you push a button and all of a sudden your college comes up and it tells all about your program right there in front of all these kids that come in when they're little kids. They want to see where they should go. Well, they got 26 programs. They can push a button. They can see which program that they might want to go at an early age.
Which is the best fit for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is coming up in about a month. We're just about a month away from this, right?
Yep, the event is called the Dan Gable Museum Gala. It is on Saturday, October 24th, and it's being held at the Holiday Inn Airport in Des Moines, Iowa. And it sounds like the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, your museum, is being transformed into a state-of-the-art museum with an expanded wrestling room and training center as well. So kind of going off of what you're saying, not only are we educating people, but we're giving them a template and a place to also excel. Exactly,
but we want every state to see this, and so far
we want to set the example.
We want to be the example because we are the heartland, and everything pumps out of Iowa, especially for the sport of wrestling. It goes everywhere, and you know, believe it or not, you know, like we have countries that are actually, their sport is wrestling. I mean, like Russia. I mean, they're dominant in the sport. Iran, they're dominant in the sport, and they know what I'm doing right now. Right. Follow me, and you know, I may have a phone call from Putin on the phone, or you know, or one of his assistants, just because that's how much it means in some places. But our sport does need, you know, a boost, and I want the coaches to realize that they can do something with that boost, not just on their wins, which that's what they're concerned about. They're competitive on the mat, and I don't want them to be any less competitive whatsoever, but I want them to be more competitive off the mat and work together in a way that our sport does get enhanced.
Do you think this just might be a case of them not knowing what steps to take to help this cause?
I think it's them not knowing what this guy knows right now as far as what this event is, and that's why this is good that we're here talking a little bit
Now,
about
how much participation do we have now? Do we need to get everybody involved in this? Do we have is there a place where people can go to say, okay, I'm in, I want to be there? How can they let you know that they're going to be there?
Well, they can actually, they already know because they're getting bombarded, but they can also go to the Gable Museum website, you know. Okay. They can do that. And
just Google that and you'll be able to find it.
I was going to say ggmstaff@nwhoff.org or 319-233-0745. We'll have that information up on our Facebook page and website as well, so you can get that. But just trying to get people excited about the sport.
As someone who doesn't follow it, Coach, as closely, it was stunning to me when this happened. This was one of the original Olympic sports, and you think of it as a bedrock sport for the Olympics, but you said this was something you saw coming a little ways down the road.
I don't know if I saw the actual acts, but I saw like we weren't doing our work. I mean, it's like a young kid going to school, and he gets a test, and there's 50 points on that test, and he has to fill them out, but he just signs his name and turns it in, doesn't fill out any of the true or falses or fill in the blanks. He just turns it in and he thinks he's going to pass. You're not going to pass. I mean, maybe
mailing it in, so to speak. Yeah.
You know, maybe you're gonna because you're wrestling, because you're an original sport, because you're actually, when you think of the Olympics, you think of like a wrestling, two guys out there wrestling. So, you know, maybe, but not over time. You know, about the third or fourth time you do something, they're gonna call you on it. And when you get to the point where they call you on it, it's too late almost. So we actually have banded together as a group, 188 countries. You know, we actually decided that we would work together for the change, and we're doing some good things.
As I say, speaking of wrestling in the Olympics, at this event, you're going to be promoting the 2016 Olympic trials that are being held at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, April 10th through the 12th. How are we doing in the Olympics? How's wrestling? You know, it's still there. As a state, as a country, how are we doing?
Yeah, no, we actually never didn't participate. We're back in, so we didn't lose.
Right.
We were going to be out after 2016, but we're back in. But they may change some formats about how you become an Olympic sport each time too. So there may be some new rules, but we want to make sure that we're always in there. And you know what we just did? We just got our leader in our organization, which is called UWW, United World Wrestling. It used to be called another name, but we changed that after we got in some trouble. But we just got our leader in that sport from Serbia, Nenan Lalovic. He's actually just been placed on the International Olympic Committee, that group of people, which we didn't have anybody on board with the sport of wrestling on the International
Now you have
Committee.
somebody on your side.
Yes, we do have somebody.
Good.
And the funny thing is also, when we got voted out, nobody from wrestling was there. And it's pretty easy to vote somebody out
when they're not there.
Right.
Yeah,
and so
of course.
we didn't think we had to be there. I mean, come on, we're wrestling.
We're wrestling.
Right. Yeah.
But do you think?
Well, who would think?
Do you think this controversy and the little bump in the road that you had, thankfully we're back in, do you think that kind of was a wake-up call saying, hey, listen, we've got to get our act together. We got to get our ducks in a row. Do you think that happened?
It's definitely a wake-up call. It's just that people forget real quick just what happened.
Well, let's not forget this now.
Well,
we got to just stay on
forget,
it. Keep our foot on the gas.
So that's where I'm here.
Got to keep our foot on the gas.
There's one guy in the world that people kind of remember, and look up to, you know, and position himself. You know, it's like you have to have certain people that can kind of, when they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, somebody's watching. They know I'm watching. You know?
And this is the last guy you want to be on your back, I'll tell you that.
I say, you're a continual motivator for many things in life, and you've written another book.
Yeah, show me a book off here before we go. Yeah.
Well, that's I don't know about the mugshot.
That's pretty good.
Let me hang on, sir. Yeah, that's you. Okay, you're good. Okay.
But that's called A Wrestling Life and the Inspiring Stories of Dan Gable. And
here, let's put this up so they can see this. Here, hang on just a second. There you go.
I like that.
There you go, Craig.
It's just short stories about wrestling. There's actually lessons in there, and each one might be 2 pages long, might be 10 pages long. It's a quick chapter, and you don't have to keep reading. You can stop after one chapter and then put
I
it
like
down,
that kind of book.
and then you can go to the third or the second one. So it's not any particular order, but there's a lot of life lessons in there, and there's a lot about how to be successful in your own life and others.
I see Tim Ferriss on the cover. I read his stuff a lot. That's really cool.
And John Irving's you got a little quote on there. And,
Nate Kading's on there.
Yeah,
in the back,
and you know, another author name is Scott Schulte, who helps me organize things, and Mike Golick's on there. Yeah, he loves wrestling.
ESPN
so,
guy,
yeah, he's always promoting wrestling as much as we can. So you know, we have some people out there that like our sport. In fact, I said, you know, it's worldwide, but yeah, it's. Got some made the New York Times bestseller list.
There you go. How about that? There you go. And rightfully so.
But we want to remind everybody
Big
about
event,
this event coming up October 24th. It's a Saturday. It's an event being held at the Holiday Inn Airport in Des Moines, Iowa. We hope you can check it out and continue to support wrestling, not only in our great state, but across the country and the world. If you want more information, National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Dan Gable Museum, 319-233-0745. And we'll also have the information up on our social media.
And we'll remind people of it as we get closer to it as well, Dan.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, the thing about Des Moines is it's right here in Iowa, and we're just actually getting Des Moines to the level that we really would like to see them be in the state of Iowa or in the world for wrestling. They've just started junior high wrestling for their inner city schools just 2 years ago. Okay. I mean, you would think they would have had it forever,
right?
Because you don't just all of a sudden jump into wrestling and win.
High school,
so just think how good Des Moines can be in the future, just because they've added junior high wrestling.
Perfect.
With those 5 schools that are in the city
that
here.
Is great.
So that's great. You know, and of course we have national championships here in the NAIA,
right?
You know, Grandview with 4. So we need a rival school, you know, and so we need one more here. But mostly we just need to upgrade our state capital. Even though it's the best wrestling tournament in the country in high school, right here in Des Moines. So we have all the makings. We just need to get things going a little bit more.
We can do that. Dan Gable,
right.
thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. We'll see you in a month. Sounds great. It is 9:52. We